Hi, my name is José Delgado. I'm the conductor for the Sonic Symphony World Tour. I'm excited to be here, and you're listening to the SEGA Lounge.
Welcome to the SEGA Lounge, where we celebrate our love for all things SEGA, including the games, the music, and the community. I'm your host, KC. Join me as I talk to different guests and learn more about their projects and passion for SEGA. Hello everyone, we are back with episode 198 of the SEGA Lounge. I've had a couple of weeks off work and off the show, and I'm feeling just a little bit more refreshed, but a whole lot excited for the final stretch of this season of the SEGA Lounge. Can you believe it's already October? As usual, thank you very much for tuning in, and if you haven't yet, please follow the SEGA Lounge on your podcast app of choice. A nice positive review will also be much appreciated. And if you're not familiar with the show yet, we're all about SEGA, and we've got amazing SEGA-related interviews and conversations, so stick around. That being said, we've got some exciting SEGA games coming out soon, as well as some special events, which I'm sure we will be covering on future episodes. And speaking of special events, how about I introduce you to this week's guest? The Sonic Symphony World Tour is in full blast and people are hyped for it, and rightfully so. Following up on the success of the London shows, I reached out to producer, bassist, and basically mastermind behind the event, Shota Nakama, and we set up a couple of interviews. So this week, I'm joined by fellow Portuguese José Delgado, the conductor for Sonic Symphony World Tour. José was hands down one of the best guests I've ever had the pleasure to talk to, and I'm sure you'll be able to clearly hear his passion for music and for this extraordinary celebration of Sonic the Hedgehog history. I hope you enjoy listening to this interview as much as I did recording it, and feel free to play along during the challenge. Hello, José. Welcome. Welcome to the SEGA Lounge.
Thank you, David. Good to be here.
I should say hola. Right?
Olá, prazer. The Portuguese one.
Yeah, fellow Portuguese. This is not a common occurrence, so I'm happy to have fellow Portuguese here on the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
So thank you very much for coming on the show. A pleasure to have you here. A privilege as well. We'll be talking about your role as conductor. Yep. For the Sonic Symphony World Tour. We'll get into that, but I usually like to know more about the background of my guests. So
sure.
When I was thinking about this interview, the first question was, because it's the conductor for the Sonic Symphony World Tour. So my first question would be, how the heck did that happen? But to be more polite, how did you get started in the world of music? And
forget polite. Let's do it.
What led you to this specific role?
This is a long road that I'll try to truncate a little bit. So I went through a lot of the more traditional training of both of my bachelor's and master's were in music. However, bachelor's was trumpet performance, master's in conducting and vocal performance. So it's a slightly different world. Mm-hmm. But since then, I'd gotten into also music directing, working with solo Broadway artists or in regional shows here in the Boston area. And it was through that I met Shota Nakama, who is the figurehead, the spearhead, this whole thing. At the time, he had started the video game orchestra, finishing up his degrees at Berkeley, and then also a master's at the conservatory. And so he was already on his way, but his true all-day, everyday heart passion is for video game music in all its forms. Everything from the old school, which he transcribed for his band. It's crazy. All the way to these incredibly lush orchestrations that he's created for the Sonic Symphony Tour. And it was on a show. A colleague of mine needed to sub out a few dates. He's like, I got a guy. I know a guy, who'd be great at this. So Shota came. We hit it off right away, and I had hired him for a few other shows. One in particular that needed, the whole soundtrack was very, very rock. It was a serious rock show. And so I was asking him for ideas, like, I got it. I got guys that I work with all the time. Let me bring in my people for soundtrack and from the video game orchestra. I was like, sure, I trust you. And it was incredible. I mean, we just hit it off right from jump. And so from that point on, as the VGO continued to grow and grow and grow, they were completely, selling out venues. So they had to go to a bigger venue, sell that out, bigger venue, sell that out. So eventually he books Symphony Hall, Boston Symphony Hall, for a big old concert. And he said, I've been working with a few other choirs, but I'd like to get a really, really strong professional choir. You do the vocal thing, that world. Can you put together some singers for this? And I said, yeah, absolutely. And now I forget if it was a big recording session that we had or the concert, maybe a recording session. But he said, either way, I need a professional choir, really, really high caliber. So called up a bunch of my friends, and we came together. And in the industry, a lot of the material comes fairly late in the process. Quite often, we would already be in the recording studio, and then during a break, Shota would come out and be like, hey, so the composer just sent another piece. It's not arranged yet, but here are the keywords. Can you write the lyrics for it and then teach it to the choir when we come back? I was like, when we come back in 12 minutes. Sure, no problem. And so, I'd run to the piano and try to figure out, based on what the composer had sent him, translate from Japanese to English, and then set that to either English or Latin lyrics, teach it to the group as soon as I could, and say, so he also sent a rough audio of it. Here it is. Da, 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 da. And I love my musicians. Oh my gosh. So I would throw that at them. They're just having a blast. They're loving singing this music. They learn it. We do it in a few takes, and off we go. And we had established that rapport where, it was high level, high pressure, but really fun to work on all these various projects. And then the Symphony Hall concert came. We went even bigger, expanded the choir, really made it a thing. And since then, we've just sort of been doing that. He's gotten the soundtrack company has now come to be because of how the VGO had grown, and he's got a fantastic team around him for the business side of things, the creative side of things, the arts side of things, the promotional side of things. And they have literally he's so clear in a vision of expanding access and expanding the community, that you can't help but respond and just want to go and work on more things with him, or hire him and bring him in and all that energy. So and that's really how it came to be. And we've always been good friends, always been in touch. And he said, so because I've not been doing orchestral conducting for a while, and he said, how comfortable are you with orchestra conducting? I was like, oh, I love it. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. He said, all right, I got something for you. I'll be in touch in a little bit. A few weeks go by, and then he comes back and he says, so I've got this thing. It's the Sonic Symphony World Tour. We did like a version of it back in the day, but we'd love to really expand it, add more arrangements, and make it a really, really, a fully realized show. Would you be game to handle all the conducting of the orchestra? I said, oh my gosh, yes. Are you kidding? Of course. Absolutely. And at the time, initially, was the first half of the program was all orchestra, and the second half would be primarily featuring the rock band, any guest singers, guest artists, and some of the symphonic things. But as soon as he started getting involved with it, SEGA also responded and just kept saying, we'd like you to add more orchestra arrangements to the second half. Add more. And so God bless him and his team. I didn't have to do anything with regards to the arranging or anything. But it was literally like a song a week. He'd say, hey, I got a new piece, blah, blah, blah. So now the orchestra's on the whole time, and it's gorgeous. Some of the arrangements don't use all the musicians, the entire full orchestra. but we're on for every single song. And what conductor wouldn't want to jump at the chance to do that? You know what I mean? It's such a fun show. And then you add to that, like we were talking about earlier, the community's response, especially. I mean, they're humming along in the first act, even though it's all instrumental. They're watching the videos, and as soon as the theme starts or they see a certain picture, you can hear that, and they're getting into it. The second half of the program, when the band comes out, the roof is destroyed. Like, it's just, they erupt in such a response. We have a really, really fun opening, which I'm not going to give away. You got to come see the shows and catch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, waiting for it to come to Portugal. Obviously, yes, of course.
Oh,
yes,
my
of course,
gosh, yes. And so we would do, as soon as the band comes out, the energy is unbelievable. And so introducing the rock band, introducing any guest artists, and starting the songs. I mean, we can't get more than like 2 notes into any song before there's that explosion. You know, and Shota's a brilliant, like, so, you know, we were thinking about maybe doing, well, you'll see what it is we're going to do. The second I give 3, 4, start, everyone just explodes because they're watching it on the screen. I mean, the show, you know, I didn't see the earlier iterations. I wasn't a part of the project then, but seeing what it is now is just spectacular. You know what I mean? It's an incredible show, from the audio, from the video perspective, from the live band, live orchestra, guest artists, solos, everything. It's just top to bottom. And it's something that even a lot of the orchestra members, when we did the shows in London, said afterwards, like, we've played in this hall in the Barbican a number of times. We've never had a hard time hearing ourselves because the fans were so unbelievably loud. They were drowning out the electric instruments. You know what I mean? It
amazing.
I just kept grinning like an idiot. I'm turning around conducting, like, can you believe this? It was such, oh my God, what an experience. I absolutely love it.
And I love,
that's the long answer.
I love your enthusiasm, to be honest. No, that's amazing, because I love your enthusiasm. I don't think it's normal to see. I mean, you love music for sure. That's why you do what you do. But, you know, seeing your enthusiasm about the shows and everything, and the reaction of the people, that's just amazing to witness.
And this is, I mean, this is the energy all day, every day. You know, starting from Shota's vision and the team, the core team that he's put together with the band and with soundtrack. Like, everybody, we truly not only want to be involved with excellent music, but we genuinely love video game music in particular, and expanding that access and that capacity, and even the understanding. Like, so many people that I will talk to who know me as a serious musician, they're like, what are you working on now? It's like, I'm the conductor for Sonic Symphony World Tour. Sonic the Hedgehog, the video game? Like, oh yeah, like, there's a world tour for that? I'm like, oh yes, watch the videos from our concerts. It is absolutely epic. You know what I mean? It's a completely different thing. Whereas, you know, the community, we've been there for, you know, we're there. It's the friends of the community members who are finally seeing, like, oh, this is not, you know, a group of people in the basement going da 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 da. This is selling out, you know, 3,000, 4,000 seat arenas, and having every human listening sing along with every song. They know every lyric, and they even respond with, actually, why we had hoped to hear this song. Can you add this video? I love this moment. Da, 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 da. Oh, I love the Easter eggs you put in there. I saw that. They catch everything. It's spectacular to see.
It's hard to think of another, you know, medium, or I mean, maybe movies or something, but it's hard to think about another form of art that generates this much, you know, involvement and interaction with the fans and whatnot. And people like trying to find the Easter eggs and listen to the little bits of other songs and stuff.
Correct. I think you hit on an important thing, which is that this is the kind of show that really seems to be heading to the scope and ubiquity of movies, where people are going, once they hear this thing is coming in months and months and months and months, they're booking tickets, planning ahead. looking at things and going, I'm going to be looking for this and this and this. I hope they do this and this and this. The last set list was da, 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 da. And their response, on all the social media or directly to us as well, is overwhelmingly positive, but also specific as to what they enjoyed. It's not just I hung back and I heard some good notes. Good job, guys. Well done. It's I'd never heard this song in this key, and to see the what do you call it? Like what used to be a very synthy thing or just a rock band thing, fleshed out with a full orchestra live, and it's like an expanded thing that I've heard in my head for years and years and years. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. It's phenomenal. The response has been incredible. So now this show can go and go and grow, et cetera. There's no end in sight. The demand is already amazing. So we're excited. We're excited for the journey.
Awesome. I wanted to go back a little bit because you are obviously very enthusiastic about the show, and as you said already, video game music. Do you have like a long history with video games as a gamer, as a player of games, or you just started getting into it because of the music as well?
No, I do. I like ColecoVision. I can go back to that, the Atari 2600. Like I'm going back, you know what I mean? In my house growing up as a kid, it was limited. Like get out, go run, go play, go do something out there. But whenever I could, was all about it. Always loved it. And I guess not so much at a very sort of deliberate level, but subconsciously could see like, oh, that now sounds like and I could hear and see, with the advent of technology, progressing and better tools being able to be used to create the music and the soundtracks and the video for video games, getting more and more and more excited. I never, I guess, hardcore tracked it when I was younger. I was just more into trumpet playing and soccer and whatever else was going on. But then you start paying attention to it more and more so. For me, it was after grad school, getting out and just casting a broad net as to what was available, et cetera. And to be perfectly honest, my most, I guess, serious road back in was through my sons.
Okay.
In an Owen, because of course they wanted to be gamers, and you got the Xbox, you got the PS4, and you're doing this, and I mean, you know how kids do. They're all about it. They can find things 100 times faster. They can learn about something, in the internet, etc. So they'd come in, and I'd be watching, playing the game. Hey, can I get the Spider-Man? Can I get this? And after just sitting with them and watching it, I'm like, I want to play these. Can I pick it on what is this thing? And so playing all these games, and in particular, my youngest loves Sonic. It is all Spider-Man and all Sonic. So he knew the history, he knows the characters, he knows the stories, he knows the music, he knows the whole thing. And I would just, try it out. And, between my other quote unquote adult commitments, like go down and let me game a little bit. It's kind of fun. Get addicted is really, really fun. When Shota approached me about this, and we looked at, are you interested? 100%. Here a little logistics involved, blah, 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 blah. We decided to go forward with it. I mentioned it, to my son, and he was like, are you kidding me? What? Yeah, the mind was blown. And then you could see we had talked a lot about the progression of when they were younger and I was playing whatever they were playing. And then eventually Dad's finding his own games and he's enjoying other games, and it just sort of grew from there. Mm-hmm. And so now to be able to not just fuse that into my professional life, but really make it a prominent part of it is all the more exciting. Like this is not a hobby. This is truly, it's again, going back to talking about Shota a lot, right? He's like, that's it. You know what I mean? He had that vision. He found the people in place. He reached out to and connected with so many companies and people involved in that decision making. And they trusted him and his team and his brilliance to hand him a show like this and say, keep going, do more with it, expand it even more. We want to see more and more and more. The community wants to see more and more and more. just sort of really it validated, that level of commitment and excitement that we all have as this is not a casual, it's not even a pretty cool thing. It is freaking huge and we love it. And I think you can tell that when you go and see the show, we walk out on the stage and there's nowhere else we want to be with nor with anybody else. It's just so stinking exciting and electric. The back and forth from the audiences, from our fans, from the fans of the game, from the supporters of Sega and everything. It's incredible. It's a completely different entity. Like going back to that Symphony Hall concert we did, I had sung with the Boston Symphony Orchestra and Tango Festival Chorus for a number of years, and so that was great. It was fine. It was classical. I'd never done concerts in Symphony Hall and heard the entire hall singing along.
Singing back. Yeah, singing along.
Correct. I'm up there with my choir, Forza, and we're singing our thing, and the guest speakers are saying something, or Shota's introducing a piece. The second we start it, there's an eruption, and then every lyric is coming back at you. You're like, oh my gosh, this is a completely different universe. It's it's the coolest community to discover and then get involved with, and now lead a major project that everybody is truly getting behind. It's an exciting time to be involved in the video game industry, truly.
And I'm sure the love you're getting from the fans and from people watching the shows, and is a little bit, as you were saying before, people would maybe attend a show and say, "Yeah, nice. That was some nice music." But now they're specific. They tell you, "No, we really love this part, and thank you so much for playing this song specifically and stuff." So it's different, right? It's a different experience.
It's completely different. Like even if it had just been, "Hey, we're interested in blah 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 blah," and having online communications, great. The fan base is still there. It's still ardent, but to have both that very, very, very robust presence and then another very, very robust presence in person, in a major multi-thousand seat theater, it's just, it's so exciting. It's fantastic.
Excellent.
I got the best gig in the world. I love it.
I'm sure you do. It looks like you're having a lot of fun. So yeah.
I am 100%.
I wanted to ask you a question because I've always had this question in the back of my mind because being a conductor for people who are just watching from afar or from their seats and stuff, it's just like moving your hands somehow, right? But I'm sure that's not what it involves or what's involved in the process. I'm sure there's a lot more. So could you enlighten me, and I'm sure many of our listeners and people watching this, what exactly does the role of a conductor of an orchestra entail? From not just, I'm sure it starts way before the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
nothing at all. That's all we do. We just wave our hands. Thank you. Next question.
Okay, next question then. Okay, best gig ever.
No.
Best gig ever.
Best gig ever. Easy to say. No, and I get asked this also because we have to sync to a click track so that the video lines up with what's happening in live music.
Oh yeah,
and so folks who are my musician friends who are not accustomed to that, because most of us just do live music. I was like, isn't that boring? It's just you sit there and go tap, 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 tap. I was like, that gives us the tempo and the structure. It says nothing about the actual shape of it, the tone, what all those decisions being made. It does not account for the uniqueness of each individual musician standing before me, as well as what I ultimately want the collective to sound like. You know what I mean? And so the majority, like you said, the majority of my work happens long before I stand in front of the orchestra. For each one of the charts, I still use my good old tools like back in grad school and analyze the heck out of it. So I know not just entrances, but also what is the shape, what is the dynamic, how does the tempo change things, not just get faster or slower, but change the momentum of this moment. How do I adjust the color of this section so that it doesn't just sound like the same thing happening? Maybe I want to feature more of these instruments or ask these folks, whatever. If you think of any movie you watch, how integral the soundtrack is it hints and guides along the emotional paths. It hints and guides at the dramatic narrative paths of here, this thing's coming up. Here comes the ominous music, or here's the love scene, or here comes the exciting chasing, whatever it is. At this point, in all of our experiences, we know exactly what this music seems to be suggesting for this next scene in the movie. The show, even with the structure of a click track, it still needs shape. And these are musicians that are spectacular, but we only have essentially one big rehearsal, like a 3-hour rehearsal, the night before shows to put it all together. So it's not just about their excellence or my ability to wave my baton according to a click track. It really is, can they actually shape it, or can I really, it's on me to guide it the right way and shape it the right way so that they respond. We create that synergy and then make some adjustments. They have to make them very quickly. If time permits, we run things again and then move on. And so everybody has to be revving at a very, very high level and yet still be organic and human enough to respond in the moment and actually make so that the audience, our listeners, our fans never feel like they're watching a click track happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's really, I see that very much as probably one of my main responsibilities is to actually shape things and define them and give them some texture and some dimension, as opposed to just the accuracy of the music itself. And now with the way that the show is structured, I have opportunities to actually step off the podium, grab a mic, and engage with the audience. And not just introduce the next song, but also say, here's where we are in the journey of this character, this world, this franchise that you all love. We went from this type to this type, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it also allows me to say, oh my gosh, this audience is crazy. How are you guys doing? Da, 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 da. I won't give away something. I like asking them about when they came to enter the universe of Sonic and the Sega universe. What was that about? What was that like? How long ago was it? Was it 3 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 30? And it's really, really striking how many people are like, since birth. It's all I've known. I discovered it when I was a really, really young kid and have never turned around from that. Other games have come in. Sonic has not gone away. It is, you know what I mean? It's such a hardcore dedication, but also it speaks to how Sega has really allowed that character to evolve with the times, evolve with the story and the narrative. It gets richer. There are more characters, more backstory, more cross stories. There's just so much that I feel like they've taken such tremendous care not to sit back and say, what will make us the most money next, as opposed to what is the next evolution of this character that the fans want, that they'll respond to, that they'll really engage with. And yes, from a business perspective, of course, it doesn't hurt.
but as one of those older fans that's been around since I was a kid and has never turned back, the music is an integral part of it, and there is some debate whether this particular game or that particular game is really good or not. Of course, you can't please everyone all the time, you know, and especially the older people, the people from the 16-bit and 8-bit era. The more recent games sometimes don't connect with us at the same level. But one thing we can all agree on, which is the music is always amazing, and it's an integral part of the experience. It has always been, ever since those more simplistic, in a way, soundtracks for the early games. But it's always been a very important part of.
So, out of curiosity, when did you come into the Sonic universe?
So, my first game was the first game ever. Was the Mega Drive Sonic the Hedgehog game when I was like 7 or 8 years old. I played the game. It was
So
my
cool.
first proper video game, and so
Hmm.
that's sparked my interest with video games and made me a Sega fan, also a Sonic fan.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I have to say, listening to you talk about music and your
Hmm.
arrangements, and I have to mention one thing that I do every episode, every single episode. There is a
Go for it.
specific Sega game or series of games called Shenmue. I don't know if you've heard of that. Shenmue was
Familiar with, but I've not played them yet.
okay. So Shenmue is or was a game released in the 2000s, the early 2000s, two games for the Sega Dreamcast, and that particular or those particular two games created a love in me that didn't exist before
Hmm.
for orchestral
Hmm.
music, because
Hmm.
it was different. The soundtrack to those two games was different from anything else that had ever been done and that I
Yeah. Yeah.
had ever played. And so from that moment on, one of the many things that those games did for me in my
Hmm.
early adult life was to create in me a love for orchestral music. And so I would probably not
Welcome.
enjoy. Yeah, I would probably not enjoy the idea of a Sonic Symphony as much. I would probably enjoy it still because it's Sonic music and I
Yeah.
love Sonic music, but
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
probably not appreciate it as much as I do if not for those specific games that sparked this interest
Hmm.
and opened up my ears, so to speak,
Hmm.
to other types of music and genres and
Hmm.
even to pay more attention to what you were saying, like the importance of music in movies and video games and creating a scene
Hmm.
with a specific piece of music. So it's amazing. Video games have that power, and I think
1,000%.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they've always, even with the limitations of the technology back then, but they've always
Yeah.
used music to their advantage, which is awesome, I think.
100%. And what we're finding now is that also folks who are adjacent to the longtime fans and players and really, really ardent followers have a very similar experience coming into it. Like, I'll go to the concert, but what? What is it? Like a whole? Is it a classical thing? I get asked that a lot. Like, so you do a classical thing, and then it's like, no, we're using classical musicians. We're using the sound and the timbre, but the story is still 100% focused and framing the sonic universe. It's just a completely different thing to hear a synthesizer or four or five of them going ba da 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 da, and then watching the strings and the woodwinds do it, or multiple moments, especially in the second half, where you hear like the trumpets just screaming on top and really, really nailing these great lines that had previously been push some buttons and it's just a very different thing. The human element of the classical music side of it is for me, so stinking exciting because I both have to and get to put on my very sharpest classical musician hat, classical musician conductor, and dig into the music from that perspective.
Mhm.
And then immediately I'm a kid playing games, and then I'm leading a conversation with 6,000 people behind me. It's all of it is there. All of it is there.
Mhm.
If people want
Mhm.
to come in from strictly a more traditional classical background, but they've heard of the games or their kids or their friends, whatever, they're going to get so much out of the experience because you're still hearing incredible world-class musicians right in front of you. It's not a pre-canned thing that has affects and all sorts of reverb and 16 takes. It's right there. It's happening directly in front of you. And it's also really fun for me to watch musicians who are predominantly familiar with the classical canon, but may or may not have played a lot of this, see them responding to, oh man, you know what I mean? Like, it's not Dvorak, but oh my gosh, it's fun to go and literally beaming.
Mhm.
Or in the middle of they'll be playing whatever, put the horns down and watch the audience and go, oh my god, they are just like I was saying before, they are drowning a full orchestra and rock band. That's a very different thing that traditional orchestras just don't get to experience. maybe at
Exactly.
bows or something, but certainly not while they're playing.
Yeah.
And so I love that even the musicians on stage who may or may not be super familiar with the material, they're responding to the arrangements. Like Shota has written spectacular arrangements. He and his team have just created these really robust, rich, fully fleshed out versions and arrangements of songs that are so well known, but demand an extremely high level of musicianship from every single human on stage. Sure, sign me up. Much less for me, like let me lead that for 2.5 hours. I'm just like a kid driving a Ferrari. These are unbelievable musicians, and each night we all have to go right to the top and stay there, at a fever pitch. It's so exciting. I absolutely love it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Even if I didn't want to watch the show before this, I would sign me up. I'm there. I'm there. Yeah, front
I'm
row.
telling you, man, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. You gotta let me know when you're in the house. We're gonna find you.
Oh,
and
for
everyone's
sure.
like, huh? Right? Am I right? Right? And you're like, okay, yes. Thumbs up.
Amazing.
Keep going.
Amazing. Yeah. But by the way, so you were talking about like the hands thing. So how important, and be honest, how important is for the musicians for them to see you conducting, in showing them what the energy, and how important is it for them? Or because I'm sure, if something happened, like you had, oh no, I have to scratch my back or something, sorry, give me a second, they'd keep going, right? But how important is it? This comes from a layman, I don't know anything about conducting an orchestra, obviously. So how important is it?
So a couple different ways to answer it. One is, like I was mentioning before, it's about the shape of a thing, not just pointing to people and say, you play now, you play now. They can read the charts, they'll get it. But since I'm where I am and I'm hearing everything, I have to be able to say, not too much here, et cetera, et cetera. The specificity, something that I learned both in my studies in grad school as well as since, is that we're communicating information, not just giving beats. So the clarity of what I'm showing really makes a big difference as to how they're going to respond and how they're going to play. You know what I mean? And if you, and I've both sung and played under conductors like this who just give you da, 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 ba, ba, and point at you, you're going to take a nap and still be accurate. You know what I mean? But what I try to do with the specificity of my gestures and choices is shape the actual narrative of the music, because it is so integral to what's happening. Everybody could go home and put on a YouTube video and put headphones on and listen to the soundtrack and go, oh, that's a lovely thing, and have zero visceral, connection into what's happening. But in order for the audience to really fully feel and experience what we're doing, I very much see it as my responsibility to get that sound and that interpretation from my musicians, so that it goes right past the edge of the stage and completely connect with the fans. And it's a role and responsibility I take very, very seriously. And so even as I'm doing, all the score studying and working things out, I'm also thinking about, so there are 16 people, all staggered entrances. Who needs what, and how can I show all of that? You know what I mean? So for some folks, it's just, I can't at this point just mark time, but these people need to see a very sharp, hit this attack. Okay. Others need to see relax, hang back. And so everything, in almost 25 years of doing this, body language, facial expression are equally important to the accuracy of the beat. If not, maybe if not even more so. And on a show like this, like I was saying before, people are like, oh, it's a click track. Can't you just say 3, 4, and then go, hold on, everybody. No, it just doesn't work that way, because all the other information needs to be there. All the energy of this piece, or being able to say, Like for example, there are some times where I have to say this is more about the like a bounce, not just a shorter staccato note. This has to have boom, boom, this shape and whatnot. So if I just show this, nobody's going to do anything.
Okay.
But if I'm showing that, boom, boom, musicians are so, especially at this level, they're such spectacularly intuitive, smart people that they see a thing and I don't have to tell them anything. You know what I mean? Like the majority of adjustments or in the moment adjustments and corrections are literally something will happen. I will look at them and just maybe do that and like, yeah, I won't play it that loud anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
Or I can look at them and say, the attack has to come earlier. You're a little behind. Like, yep, got it. And that's it.
Okay.
They don't need the hand holding information. So that is why, the role of the conductor is so specific, but also vital to the interpretation, the experience, the shaping of what's happening from the orchestral end, not just the accuracy of the beat syncing up with audio.
And it involves knowing the musicians as well.
Correct.
Pretty well, right? Like you were saying,
Correct.
Some need more hand holding, some need less. So that's
correct.
There's a human
for
element to it as well.
100%. And so for all the venues where we're going, I'm meeting these musicians just cold. I don't go there a week before to get to know them, et cetera. It's showing up. And so for me, I have to show up as my whole. So I'm as energetic with them as I am with you now, because the show is not just read the charts down and let's go home. It really is. It has to have that personal, human, interactive and connection. Like for example, with London, we were very, very fortunate that the National Philharmonic was already there. National Symphony Orchestra. They were already an established ensemble entity, so they had a rapport with one another. They had the shorthand. They already had that vibe. I was the new kid on the block coming in, and who the heck is this telling me to do A, B, C, or D, et cetera. But I mean, from top down of that organization, they could not have been more game for whatever was happening. They were very, very sort of hung back and reserved at first. And I mean, of course, kind of to be expected. But I get in like, hi everybody, how you doing? All right, let's start this. And we do the sound check and go like, everybody good? And just have smiles come back and be like, okay, let's get on to the next thing, et cetera, et cetera. So it took a bit of time before we understood each other. And then it started to get even more fun because then I could play, then I could give them crap about, missing something or what have you. And it wasn't like a punitive correction. It was, man, okay, I know I did. I'm sorry. Fine, I'll fix it kind of stuff. It helped me and hopefully helped them as well, just feel much more connected to one another. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so then we could really get into things and enjoy the play and enjoy working with the rock band and enjoy working, and sending things out to the audience, because it wasn't just one person is on the podium. We are a team and we're going to remain a team and da, da, da. They let me in a way that allowed us to, I guess say, you've passed our bona fides, your creds check out. Now let's get into it. Now let's really dig into it. And then, I mean, it was just so much fun. It was just absolutely so much fun. And then they're coming off stage after, I think it was our final rehearsal before the first show. And the same folks that sort of had just kind of, calmly look at me were like, oh my God, this is so much fun. You conduct everything. Oh, this is great. I'm having such a blast. I'm like, oh, okay. That's cool. I didn't know that was happening. That's fantastic. By the time we got to the first show, there's a different thing. They're coming on stage, and it was just from the concert master to every single other human on stage. Just like, hey, we're doing this thing, and the fans are, oh, that's really exciting. Everybody was on board for the spirit, not just the music and the execution of that music at that level. It was also, let's freaking have fun. And really rock out with the rock band and vibe with the audience, just singing at the top of their lungs and really getting into the whole thing.
Awesome. That's amazing. What is it? I feel enlightened, I had to say,
Oh, good.
Amazing, amazing. That was and much more respect towards the role of conductor now. So yeah,
I
thank
appreciate
you
it.
for sharing. Thank you very much.
Doing my part as the ambassador on behalf of all conductors.
Exactly. Okay, so I think it's time now, Jose. We have a tradition here on the show, which is,
Okay.
we love our guests, and so we have to do something to have a little fun with them.
Yeah,
And
sure.
yeah, sure, yeah. So we call it the Sega Lounge Challenge.
Now that you know our guests, it's time to put them to the test. It's the moment we've waited for, and the moment they dread.
Welcome to your doom.
I mean, welcome to the Sega Lounge Challenge.
Oh boy.
Oh boy,
Like, should I
yes.
stretch first? Do I need to like warm up and get ready? What's happening?
Maybe. So I'm gonna ask you to
Love it.
sing some songs. No, I'm kidding. So I thought to myself, you have to, know the music that you've been playing and living for these past few weeks very well now. But can you tell me what the songs are, maybe which games they're from?
Oh no.
It gets worse. Wait, it gets worse. From a 10-second long clip.
I'm terrible at this. I know the show.
So I can give you options for each of. I have 10 clips. 10.
Are we going from songs based in the show? Are we talking like
They
any
are.
in the
They
Sonic
are.
universe?
They are. They are in some way or another. They're in the show. Okay.
I love it. Okay.
But they're 10-second long clips. Some will probably be a little bit easier because they have vocals. So maybe you'll maybe be able to
Okay.
identify them somehow. So if you need options, like a multiple choice thing, I can do that.
Yeah.
But let's see if you can do it without that, okay? So I trust you. I trust you. Okay,
Oh
so
man. All right.
10-second long clips. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Okay?
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
Okay, so I have them number 1 to 10. Do you want to go in order, or do you want to pick a random number and go from there?
I'm allowed to edit, right? And you like you'll throw in the correct answer.
Exactly,
right?
exactly. Yeah, I'll do like an AI. This is from
please,
Sonic.
Please.
Yes.
I love it. Okay.
So 1 to 10, or do you want to pick a random number and go from there?
Let's do 1 to 10. 1 to
1
10.
to 10.
Okay.
Deep breaths. Okay. Number 1. So let's take a listen.
Oh man.
So first of all, is this old? Is this new? What do you think?
I would definitely say it's an older one of the first, maybe from Sonic 2. Ah, boy, tricky.
Could be.
Tricky.
Could be.
Okay.
That's an
I'd like
older
to phone
soundtrack.
a friend and have some help. Yeah.
Okay. So you can call me. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll give you some options then. Okay. Some
All right,
options.
go for it.
And my options are Sonic 1, Sonic 2, or Sonic 3.
Like the
Helpful?
quality for me. I'll actually change and say Sonic 1. That sounds like a really good old school, put together the best version of ideas given technology and instrumentation at that point, or with synthesizers and what have you. So I vote Sonic 1.
If you're not right, that was a very long answer to be wrong, right? Putting together the best of the technology available at the time.
Well,
okay.
I can tell you that the first song is in A major. Does that count for anything?
Maybe half a point.
Okay.
So your answer is...
My final answer is Sonic 1.
Okay, and your answer is... correct. Well done. Very good. It was Sonic 1. This is Starlight Zone. Very nice piece. Yeah. Okay, so that's one for one. Amazing start. Okay. I think we need, if we have 10 clips, at least 6 correct answers, right? No? I mean, yeah.
The options will help, I will say, because I've only, I'm getting into the full universe. So
my advice is
be gentle.
Think about, do it like I did first. So is it an older one, a newer one, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's helpful. Let's take a listen to number 2. So older, newer,
much newer, on the cusp of what is absolutely about to happen for our world.
Okay.
What are specific title options you want to throw me? Do I get those?
Okay. I can give you some options. So your options are Sonic Frontiers, Sonic Origins Plus.
I'll stop there. Okay.
Okay. You don't want the third option?
No. Okay. Give me the third option.
Sonic Mania.
I vote Sonic Mania.
So you were saying you changed your answer.
Your Honor, go back to the transcript.
So I said option A, Sonic Frontiers. Option B, Sonic Origins Plus. Option C, Sonic Mania.
Oh, is it on Frontiers? Oh my gosh, you are putting me through it. No, I'm gonna stick with Mania.
Go with your gut.
My initial gut was Frontiers.
Do it.
It was. I'm sticking with Frontiers then.
Oh really? Really? Why?
I just spent, was reflecting on a little birdie who said stick with the gut, because immediately I'm trying to think of, okay, where in the set list is that? Do we do it here? Do we do it here? Do we do it here? I did do the first 2 shows and then had to step away for a bit. So I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, I would.
But Frontiers, you say?
Yeah.
Okay, your answer is wrong. No, it's not. It's correct. Yes,
good.
Sonic Frontiers, Undefeatable is the title of the song. Okay.
Love it.
2 for 2. Okay, let's keep it going with the more rocky stuff with number 3. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Live and learn. One of our it's our closer. It's the anthem. It's the anthem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Live and learn. Are you sure? That's the title of the song.
The title of the song is Live and Learn.
Really? Okay. Uh-huh. What game would you say this is from? I'll give you the point, even if you don't get the game. If the title is correct, which I'm not saying it is, but if it's correct, I'll give you the point, because that means you know the song.
Denying.
But just out of curiosity, which game would you say this is from?
Give me my options. Give me my
Okay.
options.
So your options are Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Heroes, or Shadow the Hedgehog.
Adventure 2. Sonic Adventure 2. I hate when you look at me like that.
I'm just looking at you. I'm just
Yeah. The omniscient ambiguity of really. Those are the words you chose.
and I usually say could be. That usually makes
Psychological
people a little bit
warfare.
angry. Yeah. Correct. Yes, Sonic Adventure 2. Live and learn. Yes, that's it. Very good. You're doing great. You're doing a great job so far. So let's go into something a little bit different. Now, okay, with number 4.
Okay.
Let's take a listen.
Okay.
So I believe you
like
play
our
this
version of it,
as
okay.
like you play this with another track together with another track, I think, from the same game. So the
All right. Slower, a little more relaxed version.
maybe the options are Sonic Mania, Sonic CD, or Sonic Colors Ultimate.
Will my brain pull it? It was Sonic Mania. What was the second?
Sonic CD
Sonic CD.
and Sonic Colors Ultimate.
I will say Sonic CD.
Could be.
It
Why?
could indeed.
Why? And you say, why not?
Why? Yeah, I mean, really, why not? Going with the gut. I'm hoping and trying to trust my brain, having stared at the music, that I remember what the title page says, because I'm in the weeds with all the other stuff. So I'm gonna stick with Sonic CD.
Okay. Final answer, right?
Final answer.
Final answer. Let's lock it in. Your answer is incorrect. Unfortunately. So this was from Sonic Colors. This was the Sonic Colors Ultimate, which is like a remastered version of the game that came out like 2 years ago. So it's a little bit remixed, but it's Planet Wisp Act 1. I think you play, Planet Wisp and Aquarium Park, if I'm not mistaken,
Correct.
together.
Yep.
Yeah.
That medley.
So yeah. So oh my god. Okay, but it's okay. 3 out of 4. So
3 and 1. 3 and 1.
yeah. So let's go with number 5 then. Let's see if you can tell me what this is from.
I want to say that one of our fans hit us up and asked about why this wasn't in the show. I didn't see it. Are you going to add it in? I don't know if there's a specific one. Okay, my options.
So
this one I don't.
okay, so I'll give you some options. By the way, do you think this is an older game, a newer game?
No, I think it's more in the middle.
More in the middle.
It feels like a more mature, slightly older version of the 8, 16-bit, etc. It has the vocals. It's got thicker orchestration. I'm gonna say to be more in the middle.
Okay. So your options are Sonic Adventure, Sonic CD, and Sonic and Knuckles.
And I'm not giving years. You don't help your guests out with. Okay,
That's a good point. So I'll say Sonic Adventure is 98, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Sonic CD 90. No wait,
5,
2,
4?
92.
Oh, cool.
And Sonic and Knuckles 94.
I'm gonna go with Knuckles. Actually, I think it's there.
So I apologize. Sonic CD is late 1993.
We'll allow it. I
Which
asked
is
my
okay. It's
committee.
okay.
We'll allow it. We'll allow it. No, I'm sticking with Knuckles.
Sonic and Knuckles is your
You are
answer.
torturing me. This is
Just checking to see if I heard you correctly. So you say Sonic and Knuckles.
I'm going with Knuckles.
Okay, so let's see if you went the right direction with this one. No. No. With Sonic
I have
CD
homework to
this
do.
time. Sonic CD. Yeah. So
Okay,
Sonic CD.
honestly, that was going to be my first response, and then I second guessed. Shoot.
See, what did I tell you? Go with
for the
your
gut.
gut.
You did- you said it.
Yeah.
You said it.
So the quality of the soundtrack in Sonic CD, even though it's an earlier game, it had the CD, the Mega CD add-on with CD quality soundtrack. So that's why it's a little bit better. So it makes sense. Makes sense. And this is called Sonic You Can Do Anything, and it includes the lyrics "Toot Toot Sonic Warrior." So. Toot, toot.
I mean, those are quintessential lyrics.
Yeah, inspirational, I would say.
Very much so. Very much so.
So toot toot number 6.
Okay,
Yeah?
here we go.
Let's
Come
go
on.
with number 6. Halfway there. So let's see what happens next.
I wanna fly high so I can reach the highest of all the heavens. Somebody will be waiting for me. So
Okay.
Okay. So options.
It's another I'm unfamiliar with, so let's hear the options.
Okay. So options: Sonic Adventure, Sonic Heroes, or Shadow the Hedgehog. So years: Sonic Adventure like 98, Sonic Heroes 2003, around that time, and Shadow the Hedgehog, I think 4, maybe 5, 2005.
I'm going with Heroes. That feels good for a Heroes. I like that. Sonic Heroes. That is a final answer.
Okay.
And yes. Stick with
Yes. And yes. Okay. So because you were so quick to give me your answer, I will be very quick to say,
I'm especially for the unfamiliar. I need to trust my gut. Right or wrong, just commit.
so I'll be very quick to say, no, it was Sonic Adventure. I think you play this or a version of this. This is Believe in Myself. So there's
We
a medley.
absolutely do. It's a
A
different
medley
version of
with
it. Yep.
with another one. Yeah. So, but yeah. Okay.
That
No worries.
is-
We have 4 clips left, and I think we can get
boy.
3 points, 3 correct answers. I think the next one.
This is high pressure.
I think
I want
the
to have a word
next
with your
one.
producers.
The next one will be easy.
Oh, he said.
Maybe not. Let's take a listen. I know for a fact that you play
Okay.
this. Okay.
We absolutely do.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, by the way, earlier game, newer game,
Newer game.
newer game. Okay. So, your options are Sonic Colors, Sonic Frontiers, or Sonic Mania.
Gut. Sonic Colors.
Final answer. Check 1, 2. Final answer.
Mike's still on, as far as I know. Colors are mania, but I'm sticking with Colors. I'm sticking with Colors. No code
or
from
maybe
the host. No,
or maybe.
or maybe Mania. Yeah.
So which one?
You are evil.
The other one.
I'm going Mania. Yeah, I think.
Oh my
Mania.
God, that's
I'd like
correct.
to explore
Oh
the
my
other.
God, that's amazing. That's correct. Well done. Saved it. How did you do that?
If you spend enough time here, you can.
Of course.
No.
Of course. That makes sense. Makes sense. This is Sonic Mania, Lights, Camera, Action by fellow Portuguese T-Lopes.
Whom
yeah.
I've just begun to sort of get to know a bit.
Okay.
Seems cool.
Okay.
Seems
Yeah.
very, very cool.
T is a cool guy. Okay.
Have you had a chance to interview him, out of curiosity?
We've had we've exchanged information, talked about it, scheduled, but then he had to reschedule and never happened. But hopefully in the future.
Hopefully in the future.
Yeah. Okay, so we got 3 left. Can we get 2 correct answers? I think we can, because we're going old school now. We're going old school now for the final 3.
And I'm hoping so.
Yeah, let's take a listen to number 8. Yep.
Okay.
Indeed, that's it. So your options are for this very old school music song: Sonic 2, Sonic and Knuckles, or Sonic CD.
Sonic 2. Sonic 2. It feels. It's older. It feels of that time.
Say no more. Correct. Yes, Casino Night Zone. Casino Night Zone. Good job.
Fantastic.
Okay, number 9. Number 9. Okay, so your options are Sonic 2, Sonic and Knuckles, and Sonic CD.
Evil. This is a slice of evil. I want to say that's part of our CD medley in the first.
I'll give you a hint and say this is not Sonic 1.
It's not Sonic 1. Okay.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm. It's either I think CD medley is our second or third song, so I'm gonna go with CD medley.
So out of Sonic 2, Sonic and Knuckles, and Sonic CD, you say CD.
You enjoy this.
I do. Final answer.
Final answer. I'll go
Final
for it.
answer. Okay. Your answer is incorrect. It's Sonic and Knuckles. Sky Sanctuary Zone. Sanctuary Zone. Yes.
Okay.
So close.
All right, come on.
Which
That's in the middle of our first
means
half.
we have you have 5 correct answers. We wanted 6, right? To get it over the halfway. So the final song. Okay. This is I know this is you play this. This is probably not the easiest one in the world, but let's take a listen.
Okay.
Okay. So your options are. And so I'm going to tell you that this is like middle of the timeline here. Okay. So your options are A. Sonic the Hedgehog, which was the 2006 game, just called Sonic the Hedgehog. We usually refer to it as Sonic 06, right? Option B, and for Sonic 06, so it was 2006. Option B, Sonic Heroes, which we've established is 2004. And option C, Sonic Colors, which is a little bit later, 2012, the first version. So Sonic 06, Sonic Heroes, or Sonic Colors.
Watching the eyes in the face.
You have nothing. You get nothing from me. This is called His World, theme of Sonic the Hedgehog.
It's like halfway through the second act. I'm gonna say that's for Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic 06. I'm pretty sure it's tucked in right in the middle of the second half, fully rocking with the band.
For glory, or amazing disappointment. I don't know.
Yes, it's a fine line.
Which one? I don't know. For glory or disappointment? José Delgado, is this your final answer?
This is my final answer.
Good job. Yes. Well done. Let's go. Very good. Very good job. Well done. 6 out of 10, which gets you the official Sega Lounge seal of approval, which I will send to you later. Well done. Very good.
Oh, man.
Very
fantastic.
Good. Okay. So thank you very much for being such a good sport. Say, okay, thank you.
Oh, man, thank you.
You can relax now. You can relax.
Thanks so much.
So we'll promise me something. Next time you come on the show, and you're like,
Bro,
next time I'm never gonna return. But next time you're on the show, we'll do this again. And you'll get a perfect score.
10 for 10.
10 for 10.
10 for 10.
Okay. So before I let you go and relax, and just take a shower or something, because this is
I have
stressful.
to change clothes before my 7 o'clock. Yeah.
Of course. So you've mentioned briefly your choir, Forza Choir, right?
Yeah, Forza
would you
Choir.
like to tell us a little bit about that project, which is not really Sonic or Sega related, but I wanted to know a little bit more about that.
Yeah, of course. So that's the choir that came to be when Shota had asked me about the some of the first foray into really bigger titles, much more on the line kinds of things. And so I reached out to various friends of mine in the honestly in the classical community, in the opera community, because besides the fact that they're incredibly talented with stunning voices, the majority of the more I guess prominent roles in the world of opera, they can't touch vocally until they're much older, until literally their instruments mature even more, and they get the rep. So I have access to this huge body of spectacular musicians, and quite a few of whom are diehard gamers of all sorts of interests. That I reached out to and said, the music's going to come late. It's going to be a lot. We have a very limited amount of time to do it. And it's epic, symphonic. You are gods and battle scenes and other planets and beasts and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Every single one said, oh my God, yes. Sign up. And so as soon as I had put together the ensemble, we didn't even have that name yet. We didn't have, at the time that we were walking into the studio, we weren't the entity yet. That was born, in the moment. And so we came in, started working together. It was wonderful. finished up, and then as wrapping things up, just saying thank you. Shota comes out, thanks everybody. The singers just kept coming up to both of us. Oh my God, when can we do this again? We got to do this again. When are we going to do a thing? Nah, nah, nah. And so put our heads together and think we need a name. We need sort of an umbrella for the entity. Unlike the vast majority of any professional choirs, personnel will change and rotate, but the entity itself remains intact under the name. And as I thought about it a bit more, I wanted it to be not the Delgado Symphonic Singers or something very blah and that. The word forza, as I'm sure you know, is such a ubiquitous word in our language and culture that just means so many things depending on the context and situation. And I even explained this to the group when I announced what our name would be moving forward, and just like this is the attack. Go for it. It's as much about I need to hear forza for me to go and get my next thing or rise to the next challenge, as it is for me to encourage and build and challenge you. Let's go. Like, this is what I scream frequently at the screen when I'm watching my home team Benfica play or the Portuguese national team and whatnot, right? And so this is it was one of the very, very, very first ideas that came to mind, because the vast majority of people won't know what that is. So they have to dig into it, kind of like, what does that mean? I want to know what it means. And then I get to explain and tell them why. Like, this is the ensemble, as well as, our end of, like, our responsibility is more in the vocal choral arm of Soundtrack, the production company. And so, having that identity as we are on attack. We are not hanging back and singing pretty notes. You can't sing epic world destruction and gods and deities, destroying each other from Delgado singers. That would be awful. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to hear that group perform. But, having Forza, it just felt like it felt right. It felt right for what we do, whom we do it with and for, and what it is that we're doing. It's get at it, attack, go for it. And at the time, we were a completely unproven entity. I just knew for a fact, I had that faith in my singers. Shota had faith in me, in what I would be able to put together. And we went for it. We said, Forza, let's go.
Forza.
Vamos a essa. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
that's
That's great. Yeah, excellent. So if people want to know more about the word Forza, just
There you go.
look it up. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
go learn some Portuguese. Okay. Awesome.
And come find me at a concert. I'd be happy to do a quick little Portuguese check-in and primer if you want. Anytime.
Excellent. So I have one final question for you, Jose, which is
Yep.
what I always ask my guests. I'm not sure if you're familiar
Is this another
with
quiz?
it.
Am I about to get another quiz?
No. It's much simpler, and or maybe not. I don't know. Let's see. So, back in the 90s, SEGA of America we had the Mega Drive in Europe. In America, it was called the Genesis, Sega Genesis, and they marketed it as having blast processing, which is not really probably a thing. It's more like of a marketing term. But
Sure.
it was supposed to make the Genesis more powerful and faster than the competition. So it had blast processing. So my question to all my guests is always, if you could add blast processing to anything in the world, what would it be and why? So it means, anything. Something that could make anything faster and more powerful. And, so if you could add blast processing to anything, what would it be and why?
Wow. I would add blast processing to the communications chain of any product or government or entity, from initial concept to execution to launch. Just get it done instead of all the bureaucratic and the red tape and the delays and la 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 la. Nope.
Right?
Figure out what it
Yeah.
is and go.
That's a very good answer. That's a very, it definitely needs more blast processing.
And that's my
Okay.
final answer. I'm sticking with it.
That's a very good answer. There are no wrong answers here. Yeah, so amazing.
Excellent.
Good
Excellent.
job. Good
Excellent.
job. Thank you very much. Is there
Thank you.
anything you would like to say to the fans, to the the hardcore Sonic fans
Sure.
that have been to the shows or haven't yet, but will be in future shows?
Yeah. Besides a huge thank you, which always seems too small, it's we hear you and we love the interaction. We love the thoughts and the feedback, and we are trying our absolute best to get to every single country and venue and continent as soon as as often as we can, because truly this is it's symbiotic. It is not we go up there and we make noise and you guys clap and then go away. We try to constantly improve and create and present a really fantastic show, but that's half of the equation. We can do whatever we want, but until we have our fans and those audiences engaging and really showing up and singing every word, every note, that's when we are at our happiest, our most fulfilled, and that's when it feels like all these hundreds and thousands of hours that we've used, we the collective have invested in making and creating the Sonic Symphony show. Then it pays off. Then it actually means something, because it goes out and comes right back, and it's that reciprocity is everything for us. We absolutely love what we get to do with you. So thank you for the way that you love the show and support the show and invite us to do more and more and more. Really appreciate that.
Excellent. Very nice words. Thank you for that as well. It was a
My
blast
pleasure.
to have you here on the show, Jose. Very nice to
Likewise, man.
talk
Thank
to
you.
you.
This was a lot of fun.
Such an amazing guest. So you're welcome to come back on the show anytime. Maybe next time
Not
we'll do
until I've done more studying.
maybe we can do
And B?
next time we'll do it in person.
Yeah.
Maybe after a
Oh,
show.
man, I would love to.
Oh,
I would
maybe
love to.
in
I
Portugal.
would love to.
Maybe just
It's on the how do we say? It's on the vision board for our team. In particular, now that I'm the conductor for it. I wish I could have gone with them to Brazil this weekend, but anytime we've had hey, was the conductor? Is he really Portuguese? Because
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, and so it was like, oh, 100%, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
so I
like the
would love
first
to.
thing
I
that
would
that
love
Shudder
it.
told me when I told him, oh, I wanna interview you, and he'll be on the show soon. But when are you coming to Portugal? And yeah, I can be on the show. And did you know that our conductor is Portuguese? So yeah, really?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I first got him to think of that, like introduce him to the concept of nakama, in bed or on the bed. He was like, "That's what my name means." I'm like, "Just wait till you get to Brazil, bro. It's gonna change your life." They're like, "I'm Shota and I'm nakama." I was like, "Yeah."
I've
it's
seen
so
tweets about
layered,
it
you go.
already. Yes. And I didn't even process, before seeing the tweets of what that can be, what the name can be in. Yeah. Anyway, so
we don't need to divulge the full definition.
no. Look it up.
We'll
Look it up.
keep
it's
it there for now,
Portuguese.
but look it up. Look it up. Exactly. Go look it up.
José, thank you very much.
True.
Força.
My pleasure, man. This was
Força
great.
Benfica
Força,
as well.
Vamos. Yes, vamos essa.
Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Okay.
That sounds good, man.
Thank you.
Take care.
That was a blast. Thanks again to José Delgado, and a big thank you to Shota Nakama as well, who made this interview happen and will also be coming on the show very soon. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed episode 198 of the Sega Lounge. We're 2 episodes away from our big 200 shows. I'm hoping to share more news on the special celebration episode next week, so stay tuned for that. Again, if this is your first time here, be sure to follow the podcast and listen back to some Sonic and Sega related interviews and content. That's it for me. I'll be back next week with another very special guest. We'll be traveling to South America next time, that's all I'm saying. Until then, have a great week, enjoy some Sega games and music, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye! The Sega Lounge, hosted by me, KC, and part of Radio Sega's network of live shows and podcasts. Theme song and incidental music by OSC. Find them at opussciencecollective.bandcamp.com. Got any suggestions? Drop me an email to podcast@thesegalounge.com. Find us at The Sega Lounge on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can find previous episodes of the show by going to thesegalounge.com and wherever fine podcasts are downloaded. A Mixed On Productions podcast.